Hello and welcome to Q's Retro Perspective. It's Christmas, so let's sit back, relax, and watch some Christmas specials. Or digital press conferences. We're talking about digital press conferences. Foreshadowing! I think many video game players get excited when news about their favorite company is revealed.
I meant good news, so why not condense most of that good news into a press conference? Oh, for the love of God. But this is boring. Even with events like Nintendo Space World, where are my fancy motion graphics? Well, I don't want to have to make a road trip out of it. I have a life. Around the early 2010s, video game companies realized that most people couldn't make the trek to E3 and were relegated to watching low-quality footage captured off a smartphone. A smartphone. So just upload the highlights to YouTube.
But I wanna see the whole thing!
In comes the Nintendo Direct. The first ever Nintendo Direct was in 2012, and it was a little rough. While modern Directs tend to be fast-paced, this was really just a 12-minute press conference. There was more energy at an actual E3 presentation.
Which was a literal press conference.
Reggie talks slowly like he's talking to a room full of reporters, which wasn't their target audience, and most of the Direct is taken up by these slow interviews. And very little is showcased.
Overall, not a very good first impression, but there were more Directs to come.
In May of 2013, we got a preemptive Direct for E3 2013. There's been progress from last year. I've made progress! Although, it was still slow and boring. But that was just kind of the whole Wii U era for most first-hand accounts I've seen. They did try to integrate E3 demos into the real world, though, using Best Buys in the US and Canada as demo locations. The only true world map. But then came the Direct for E3 2013. This year, Nintendo decided not to hold a major conference at E3. They still had game demos, but all the information was presented in a Nintendo Direct, and this Direct is the first to really feel polished to me. No slow interviews, no pacing issues, it's all nice, snappy, and energetic. This was also an experimental era of Nintendo, where they had a sense of humor beyond corporate-friendly pictures of Mario doing wacky things. For E3 2014, Nintendo had a digital event. It was the same format as the E3 2013 Direct, just a new name. But this was a different feeling. Nintendo referenced annoyances fans had, they got Robot Chicken to do comedy sketches, and overall it feels more lively than a more modern Nintendo Direct. Like, come on, Reggie burns a man alive with a fire flower. Then 2015 had funny puppet segments, and these were all so much fun. While there were normal Directs throughout the year, the E3 digital events were the highest effort. The 2015 event was the last E3 digital event. Nintendo was now fully out of E3, and just started releasing normal Directs around the time of E3. And I can guess most everybody has seen and enjoyed the Directs from the Switch era, but I've gotta say, the digital events were just more interesting. I love seeing new games, I find the Directs of recent to have the best pacing, and any Direct type is better than their first attempts, but I think that they need to bring back having one big presentation a year. It makes sense that they would want to stop having an E3-themed presentation, now that it's dead, but I hope to see the resurrection of smaller Directs throughout the year with one big, comedy sketch-filled, lively presentation. But for now, we have our simple press conferences with all the fun motion graphics.
Nintendo doesn't just do Directs either.
Indie World is a whole presentation dedicated to independent games, which could be seen as either giving indie developers the spotlight they deserve or pushing the lesser games to the side. They also have a separate presentation for third-party games that didn't make it into a full-on Direct. Now this is very much so Nintendo pushing stuff they're obligated to present to the side.
And like many things, somebody else saw the success and went, mine!
In 2019, PlayStation left E3 as well. So they introduced the PlayStation State of Play. Cocky much? This is really just the direct format, but for PlayStation. There hasn't been as much evolution to these, as by 2019, video game companies had a better grasp on the worldwide interwebs. The first one ever was just a well-paced, high-quality presentation, and a suitable replacement for an E3 press conference. And they haven't changed a bit since then.
But Xbox is a little more stubborn.
All the way back in 2016, Xbox did start live streaming their E3 events to YouTube, but that is less a digital press conference and more a digital way to view a press conference. They haven't had any equivalent to a direct or state of play. They were known as one of the last things holding E3 together. Then things happened! Even though there is no way to hold an E3 press conference, they just haven't made a true digital equivalent, leaving Xbox fans to just get various scattered trailers on YouTube. They have been doing partner showcases, but those are only third party. So most of Xbox. And they moved to Gamescom, because everybody cares about Gamescom.
But there is one more digital video game press conference I want to talk about. One so bad the company delisted it off their YouTube channel.
This failed presentation comes from none other than Atari. Atari has gotten back to making games again, and they've been doing pretty well. Even though it's not technically the same company of the 70s and 80s, I've liked what they've been doing. I think Mr. Run and Jump for modern consoles is one of the most polished platformers I've ever played. I think Mr. Run and Jump for Atari 2600 is a fun time, and I've heard not bad things about Yours Rising. But they still have their misses. And their first attempt at a digital presentation was a big one. They went the Xbox route of filming one of their expos live, which isn't bad, if done right.
As you can see, they didn't do it right.
Even as a lower-end company, all the flaws here are inexcusable. The video quality is awful, there were seemingly no external mics used, it was clearly filmed on a cell phone, in handheld, and in vertical. You can barely hear anything anybody is saying. The cameraman just goes around the expo, and to show off the games, they film the TVs at the kiosks. And you can't even see the games through the graininess. They could be showing anything on those screens and nobody would know.
This is a secret project here at Atari, and nobody can see it yet.
At one point, they just straight up admit the Wi-Fi's awful where they were filming.
Then why did you decide to do a live stream?
Due to all the issues, after 6 minutes and just 2 games, the dude just ends the stream.
And that's all the digital press conference things I felt I wanted to talk about. Nintendo digital presentations at the top, Nintendo Directs and PlayStation State of Plays tie for second, Indie Worlds and partner showcases to third, Xbox daily lives from E3 go to fourth as they are more so fighting against digital press conferences than embracing them, and Atari's failed attempt goes in 82nd. I want cookies now. Ah! Oh yeah, it's Christmas. You're supposed to be here. You awake? You're still breathing. I get to save Christmas! Fun. Welcome to the How I'm Going to Save Christmas digital press conference. Today we will be talking about how I'm going to save Christmas. I have already been provided with the flying reindeer, the toys, and the sleigh. I have not, however, been provided with the commercial pilot license or higher, so I'm going to break international aviation laws and just try my best. That is the end of my presentation.
There is a random man breaking into our house and giving us toys.
That's Santa. He's supposed to be doing that.
No, this is a random skinny white kid. I want Santa.
And now, a breaking story of someone trying to steal Christmas.
I'm not stealing Christmas! Santa's just unconscious on my living room floor! Do not try and save Christmas.